so far in Super League. They've won their way through to a Wembley final. But tonight, Barry McDermott, they face a St Helens side that has something to prove.
First of all, how good was that before the game? I was down at pitch side about 15 minutes ago. You couldn't hear yourself speak. And these fans doing their best to let the players know there is no letting up tonight. Saints will come here buoyed by the fact there's a big game for Hull KR on the horizon. But believe you me, there are so many incentives for these Hull KR players. None more so than booking your place in the Wembley team.
Well, a few would expect to be in that 13, that's 17 next week, wouldn't they? But that is the gamble here tonight, because those expectations might be damaged by injury. But they have to put that out of mind. Alex Walmsley playing his 300th St Helens game tonight. And look at that. Already Tyrone May has stayed down. The kick is long and high. Joe Burgess will catch. But in the very first set tonight, there is a worry for Hull Kingston Rovers.
Well, big Alex Walmsley, who at 6'6", 6'7", he's all elbows, knees, and it's a difficult choice to know where to hit him. Thankfully for the Hull KR fans, Tyrone May's up and getting back on side.
You can hear a sense of relief from those Hull Kingston Rovers fans as well, as May not looking over healthy at the moment. Staying got a stray boot somewhere, but he is back in the line and ready to carry on, and I think early concerns will be dismissed there.
He looks okay. I'm not an expert, but it didn't look like an impact injury. It looked like a stretch, or maybe his arm went in an awkward position, but he looks good now.
Whitbread with that latest carry, and so Mikey Lewis will get the kick away. Alex Walmsley's doing a bit of a job on him as well. The kick is taken well by Saylor. The chase is excellent. St Helens will have to start only 10 from their own line.
That's a terrific chase. So much energy and enthusiasm. Had nowhere to go when he caught that ball. Wonderful chase from Joe Burgess and his teammates.
So Clark out of dummy half. We talk about Hull Kingston Rovers, and inevitably they are the headline act tonight in terms of what's to come and what they've done this year. But this is a St Helens team that has regained a little bit of balance to its look, hasn't it, with Lomax and Whitby in the halves, and Wellesby at fullback, and Tristan Saylor maybe finding his place on the wing as well. And they will feel that they can land a blow here. Back it comes to Whitby, who gets the kick away ahead of the advancing Lytton. The catch is splendid by Burgess. Half volley off the floor.
It's a solid line that meets him. Both sides looking to ease their way into this game, grinding out set for set, looking to get into the arm wrestle.
Hold! Wait! Got one. Surrender! Stand now! Holding Darrell to wait!
This is Lewis. Out of dummy half. Tom Davis with that carry. 8 short of the halfway line when he's dealt with. And Lytton waits again. Jez Lytton. Now Petter Hiku. Just searching that middle ground, and the offload is a good one. And the pickup is clean from Sue. And Minchella throws left to May, and back inside again. And Tanginoa just tangling with a couple of defenders and taking them a couple of yards further than they wanted to go. And Hull Kingston Rovers seeking the front foot again now as they reach the back end of this set. And Minchella with the offload is ill-advised. And Whitley comes up with it. St Helens have it back. Cheap turnover.
Elliot Minchella holds his hand up. He was reversing into that tackle. Good intensity again from carry and tackle.
Percival who's dropped that. No advantage. And Hull Kingston Rovers have it back to a roar of approval.
They're going to get behind the side after all the good stuff, aren't they, including impacts like that. Quality tackle from Joe Burgess, but there were a couple of signs in that last set of 6. When carrying the ball forward, Tom Davis leaves a defender on the floor. So St Helens can't have the full complement facing defensively Hull KR, and then that late offload caused trouble. I know mistake came off the back of it, but they've got to tighten those things up, St Helens.
Big game next week, but big game in the context of the season, with Wigan playing tonight against that, as usual, Ragtail and Bobtail Salford lineup. So Wigan would expect to win that, and Hull Kingston Rovers needing to win here to keep that clear. Gap at the top as Lewis threatens to make the break. Lytton is picking up, a little scruffy, but the momentum carries him closer. This is Lewis. He's got Broadbent to the left asking for the ball, but it's swept back towards Whitbread. St Helens rounding him up, doing a job. Litton again, just having a wait. Minchella, May, and now Lewis with that distinctive left foot step that just puts hearts in mouths of defenders when it's close to the line. We come to the penultimate play of this set as Sue finds the ground. Last play, here we go, Litton. Minchella was right, but it's back to Lewis on that left-hand side. The short ball, the work, oh, the offload, and Broadbent's over to score. First try of the night. They have set the mood, they have set the tempo. With 5.5 minutes played, Hull Kingston Rovers hit the lead.
Well, Hull will be delighted to get the first points. And Jack Broadbent, the boys in the studio, as well as Jody, discussing and debating whether he was at full-back or centre. Is there a knock-on here? There's a little fumble, isn't there, from Jez Litton? But Hull, they don't wait around for the referee to blow the whistle. A delightful ball, inviting the big fella into the gap from Mikey Lewis. And Kalepi Tanganoa rides the tackle, presents the ball, a beautiful one-handed offload on the right, on the left side, sorry, with the right arm. First points to the home team. That'll settle some nerves down. Just a nice skip from Mikey Lewis. Goes in, drifts across, commits defenders, and Willie Peters is delighted.
Deservedly so. Jack Broadbent, the try scorer. That's his 9th of the season in all competitions. So he's racking them up. Former Leeds man, of course. He did play in a grand final, didn't he? Back in 2024, Jack Broadbent. So he's got big game experience. And here is Artem Org with a chance to add the 2. Not involved next week. Strange night for him, isn't it? Because of the cup tie issue. The whole ground just settling here. It's a gentle murmur as he steps up and hits it well. And the flags will confirm that Hull Kingston Rovers off to apply a 6-0 with 7 minutes played.
Well, Jack Broadbent, as we said, the topic of debate, full-back or centre, it doesn't matter. He pushes up as good as any other player in the league. Feeds off the scraps, feeds off the offloads. And a worthy recipient there. He will do that 20 times in a game and probably only get 1 or 2 passes.
So Saints start again. I don't think they've had possession inside the Hull KR half, have they, so far? Having conceded early, and that, golly, that was just teasing that goal line, wasn't it? But May did have a chance to put that left foot behind the ball, behind the line. But
Dave, I did mention those small details when Saints want to defend well, they want to control the ruck speed, don't allow Hull KR to play the game and dictate tempo.
Well, it's a penalty given away, and it's a punishing penalty as well, because a chance after conceding for St Helens to pin the Robins at that end, and suddenly it's an easy release.
And what they're trying to do is exactly what I was talking about, slow the game down, not allow Tom Davies to play the ball at his want and wish.
Oh, that's a pass that was unexpected by May.
Surrender.
Robins get away with it, keeping possession. This is Litton, who's got the chance to look around again. Wembley Song is the first of the night, I think. We'll hear plenty of that as Tanganoa takes it on another stride or 2. Litton again, stands and waits. Sunshine to the left. Mikey Lewis to the left.
So dangerous, isn't he, when he runs the ball and takes defenders on. George Whitby.
Speed here, May across, and a grab and a reach by Moore, who just rips a little hole in the defensive line, but can't get the arms free to offload for an expectant Petter Heku on the right-hand side. May, back to Litton. And again, that's a threat down that left-hand side from Tanganoa. Last play, Mikey Lewis will take on the responsibility. A little dinked kick in there, and Lewis is left flat on his back. And again, the whole of the ground takes a big deep breath. I think he was milking it. He rolls and gets some.
Well, it was certainly a heavy challenge, wasn't it? He takes it to the line. He's wanting to commit defenders. Morgan Knowles is doing his job there. For me, there's nothing wrong with that. I watched Huddersfield last night. There was a couple of debatable ones last night, wasn't there? I think they're having a discussion, referee and video ref.
The referee stopped the clock here because he's inviting the video referee. Liam Rush out there, Ben Thaler is the video referee. Just inviting the video ref to have a look at that. You reckon that's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what the officials think.
It's getting reviewed.
They're just checking that
It's
all
just
the
getting
marbles
reviewed.
are there. Left ear's intact.
It's getting reviewed,
A
mate.
bit of a headache, no doubt, but
Yeah, me
Liam Rush
too.
just pointing out that he's getting a conversation,
Penalty. Yeah,
and it's going to be a penalty
penalty. Jack,
It's a
don't come with me
penalty
like that. Wait there. Oh,
for
it's
Hawkinson
touch.
Rovers. No further
Yeah,
action, but the penalty's given for that challenge.
10 out of
Well, it's
10
the
in.
worst of two
Morgan,
evils, isn't
Be
it?
careful.
So Hawkinson Rovers with a full set to have a go here. So Asso Su is the first to carry in.
Move now, Morgan, and square. Alex, back foot. Wait. Go on.
Here's Lytton. Minchella. And now May, and throwing it back, and Morg hands it on, and Hiku has got that hip sway and arms that can just flick a ball out, but not on that occasion. Davis now will pick it up, and Morg again, crashed in by Whitbread.
Move now, Alex.
Lytton
Back foot line.
has to wait here because it's a slow rock on that occasion. Minchella making shapes here as Tanganoa threatens with his challenging run. Saints up to that on that occasion. Lytton, Lewis has suddenly gone dashing in there. He's seen something, a potential, but he's crashed between defenders, and I think Alex Walmsley's come the worst off there.
Time off, he's bleeding.
And there is blood coming out there, so referee will stop.
It's a head
Well,
clash in your own
there's
play,
more
mate.
blood, there's blood everywhere.
No, it's tackle 5 here, Mikey.
Well, that's an occupational hazard for him, isn't it?
Wait there, there's blood, 2 players.
Morgan Knowles clashes heads with big Alex Walmsley. If you're going to hit anybody in the head, it's not him.
Well, they both need a little seeing to. As we said, his 300th St Helens performance tonight. I do know that his first coach at Batley, John Keir, sent him a video message this morning wishing him the best of luck. Seems a long time since he was coming through as a rampaging prop running up the hill at Batley, doesn't it?
Yeah, he started his career at Dewsbury Celtic, then played a little bit of rugby league for Leeds Beckett, Leeds Carnegie at the time, come through their system. Batley picked him up. John Keir mentored him. He had a lot of work to do when he first arrived at St Helens, but he's been one of our best for many, many years.
I do remember having a conversation with John Keir, sitting at a match, and he's saying there are 5 Super League clubs chasing Alex Walmsley. And then Mike Rush came over and said, "Can I have a word with you, John?" And 10 minutes later, he came back and he said 6 Super League clubs are chasing Alex Walmsley. And of course, it was St Helens.
Well, John Keir knows a player, that's for sure.
You can't just carry on.
They're both looking at each other, Alex Walmsley and Morgan Knowles, looking at each other in disgust. You does it, so-and-so.
Well, they've got to do a proper job. The referees decided to stem the flow of blood before we start again. Hawkinson Rovers fans are getting impatient. I'm sure all concerned are getting impatient.
It's still the same, but they're still trying to do it.
He's too tall for the physio. The physio can't reach.
Well, the possession stats tell you a lot about the early stages of this game, don't they? 74% Hawkinson Rovers absolutely dominant, and get to go again here to have a go at this line. Morg out to Hiku. Hiku trying to create a bit of space, and Rich Evans got that down. He's got that down. That will be a try. Referee's given it without needing to go to the video referee. In amongst all that body, all those big bodies, Petter Hiku somehow twisting the ball free. It is a second for Hawkinson Rovers. They're having a pre-Wembley party at the moment.
What a signing he's been, Petter Hiku, since he joined the club. Started at full-back, but since his coach Willie Peters put him back into his natural position of centres, he assesses this perfectly, holds the ball in 2 hands. Defenders don't know whether he's going to run with the ball or pass it, and Dion Cross hesitates for half a second, loses his hips, he's off balance, and Petter Hiku shows all his experience to get that ball, coming off the back of a man of the match performance last week against Warrington. That's 2 tries in quick succession.
And full marks, we're quick to criticise, but full marks to the touch judge on this near side and the referee, who both got in great position there.
Love it.
Saved us an awful lot of time of going to the video referee. did their job terrifically well. Yeah, even though the sun's in his eyes at the moment.
Either that or he's waving to somebody.
So Morg from the touchline. What a splash he's made since his arrival from Perpignan. He'll be loving life in East Yorkshire. Don't quite have the same beach scene as they have in the south of France, but he's enjoying the rugby league and he's enjoying his goal kicking. 12 points to 0. Kingston Rovers leading here.
Well, Hull look comfortable at the minute, don't they? 12 minutes on the clock. They've had the lion's share of possession. They've had great field position, and something that Willie Peters talked about last week. Whenever they've had opportunities and chances, they've taken them, and that's a top-class finish from a top-class player.
99th career try, by the way, for Peter Hiku, so he's one away from that century. That was just for Barry. Everyone at home realised that. There goes the restart. The Rovers come again, and the name Sue echoing around at the stadium as he takes it in. And Davis with a bit of a step, but going not too far forward because Kingston Rovers finding their way blocked by St Helens' tidy defence at the moment. Remember last time they were here, Saints gave a penalty away. They'll be anxious not to repeat that. The ball's come free, and guess what? They've done just that. Ball steal and another release penalty for the Robins.
And you can see Siren and Darryl Clark appealing to the referee. The ball spills out here.
Mikey. It's not going to be 10 seconds, sir. Mikey, it's not. Do not scream at me like that.
That's nice work from Liam Rush,
Then
that.
we've got a captain's challenge.
Captain's challenge.
St Helens are challenging the ruling of a ball steal.
They reckon it was lost, not stolen. Let's hear from video referee Ben Thaler.
So the captain's challenge on field, but the ruling against the penalty was against St Helens. So you just see the player in there on the ball. You can see him on the ball and locked up on the ball. Right, let's just see how that ball does come out. Is it a pull of the hand, or does he just lose the ball? So let's just have a look on this angle. Can't really see anything on here, apart from you can clearly see he's got his hands on the ball. But actually, just go back again. Does the St Helens man actually steal it?
10 seconds, but I have to explain who stole the ball, because Johnny Lomax is all the way over.
Let me just keep on going on this one, because I don't think... Oh, right, let's go on that, because that's his hand, but that looks like the Hull KR man's hand. So just keep going on this. You can clearly see that top hand is the Hull KR man's hand, and as it goes down, right, as it goes down, the Hull KR man on that angle, you can clearly see, loses the ball. There is no steal by any of the St Helens players. That is a knock-on, therefore the challenge is successful.
Well, right to challenge successful. It was a loose carry rather than a ball steal, and St Helens will get the ball here. They'll get the ball here, and they've got a really good chance to get some inroads in this game.
Big gamble. Players are learning now not to give those captain's challenges away, and you can quite clearly see that when he goes into the challenge, Whitbread, he hasn't got a sufficient grip on it, loses control of it, and the protests from Siren and Darryl Clark were heard. Look at that strike rate. One success from Hull KR.
Just looked at the language there, the body language of Siren, and you just absolutely knew that he was convinced.
Within the tackle technique, they hadn't touched the ball, they were around the arms, but
here they go, Percival.
They get the ball back, Saints.
Another penalty here. Doesn't mean too much other than a restart of the tackle count, really. But a chance to settle.
Jack, wait there, Jack.
Just plot where they're going to go.
Wait there,
with a set of 6 to play with. To try and give some concern for the first time tonight to this Hull Kingston Rovers defensive line. Whitley with a carry, Clark, and now Walmsley. And Walmsley with a little bit of a shuffle, but 3 of them putting the big fella on the ground. The wrestle still goes on. And eventually it comes out, no restart of the tackle count, and Lomax, was there a tackle off the ball there by Hiku? Yes, there was. Grabbing a hold of Sirinen on suspicion. So another penalty.
Good spot, Dave. You can see he comes out quite clearly in anticipation, goes for Sirinen anyway. But you're right, this is the best field position they've been in. We'll see what Hull KR's goal line defence is like too.
Here comes Matty Lees, just as a settler, just to put them in position now. So a platform, left and right. Clark in. And now it's a drive by Knowles, who's ever so close, but not close enough. Saints fans finding their voice, with good reason. Lomax tossing it back to Welsby. And now a little bit of a step going on from Cross, but stepping into a wall and finding no way through. Whitby and Wormsley and riding the challenge, and Wormsley at his very best in terms of dragging that bulk over the line, and anyone who tries to dare to stop him.
Tackle 3.
Question is, how did it finish?
No try.
He doesn't think it finished well.
Check that he maintains possession.
From St Helens' point of view, but a video referee will decide on this. Ben Thaler.
We have a live call of no try on field for held up, so we can just play this through. You can still, he still has possession of the ball. At that point, you can see it's still up in the air. I cannot see the ball on that angle, so I need another camera angle, please, from the far side. So if we go on this angle from this to start with, please. You can clearly see that Wormsley has the ball, but the Hull KR man is round it. Keep it going on here, keep it going, keep it going. And you can see the ball is up there and remains up. Is there any other angle that might show me the ball?
I don't think there is. It's a man read and they go around the back anyway.
This one might help if we just go on from this. So he still had possession of the ball. We know that from all the other angles, and we know from the other angles that there's no shot where the ball is on the floor, and you can clearly see, if you keep going on this and go back to the first angle, that the ball is actually up at that point, and you can see the ball, it's up there. Thank you, I've now made my decision.
Alex, wait there.
Ain't going to be a try. Brilliant defensive effort.
Take about Elliot Minchella, does everything right, a much bigger man, running at pace with intensity. All he does is clamp the ball and prevents the big man from putting it down. Perfect technique.
There you go, confirmation, but there is more to come, because simply striding back 10 metres and have another go, St Helens. Can you do some more damage here with the 2 plays left in this set? Clark looking left again, and Lomax up to the line. And Welsby with very quick hands opens the door of opportunity, and a bounce towards the line by Murphy. And we're off again for video examination.
I have a try.
Try on the field.
Just confirm that when the ball goes close to floor, it actually touches a Hull KR man's arm, and he then propels it to the try line, so it doesn't hit the floor first.
Well, there you go. Is it a double movement, or is it legitimate? Ben Thaler again.
So we have a live call on field of a try. Just watch it in full speed, first of all, please. So we go back to that, and now we look at it. So we know he's got to the line, so we now need to dissect it to see what happens here. Keep going through on this. If you look at that there, you can clearly see from that angle the player on the left has fallen off the tackle. Just go back. Just want to ensure that what has happened, I've seen is right. Let's go on from here. He's got full possession of the ball. The player to the left-hand side of the screen has fallen off the tackle. Keep it going. The ball carrying arm is up. You can clearly see it on the Hull KR player's leg. Let's go on from here. Pause it there. I just need to see one final thing in full speed. On that angle, nothing else. That will do. Thank you. I've now made my decision.
Well, 2 tries in a couple of plays. 1 ruled out from Alex Wormsley, but 1 is going to be given for Lewis Murphy. The pressure tells, And St Helens finding their first score of the night.
Well, 3 in 3 weeks for Lewis Murphy. It was a wonderful play. Nice hands from St Helens over on this dangerous left edge for them. And it gives them the slightest look for potentially 6, and it keeps the noses in the game.
Big moment that even this early in the game, because Hulkingston Rovers were looking like they were in the real groove here up until that point. But St Helens with their first attack of the night, get their first try of the night, but can't add the 2. So 12 points to 4 it remains.
He's becoming a real threat over on this left side. You see the fast hands here from Jack Wells, but it's just class. He knows that players are coming to try to shut the player down. He's got to catch it, pass it, knowing that Petter Hiku is coming to shut the player down. It's just great from Jack Wells, being a class finish as well on the outside.
Catch and miss out pass with a defender almost in your ribs. There's some skill in that, isn't there? And here comes Walmsley again, looking to rampage St Helens forward again. 12-4. Not quite equilibrium, but the scales are just balancing a little here. This is Sirinen.
Move, Jesse.
Clark
Mikey. Wait.
wants to get this thing moving again. He'll have a little go out of dummy half and finds Knowles as an able assistant. But Hulkingston Rovers defenders working in numbers again, 3 of them in there to make sure that it ain't going too much further forward. Whitley from Whitby. And Clark. Knowles with a catch and just feigning the pass and trying to put some troubled concern in those Hulkingston Rovers defenders' minds, but 4 of them again absolutely focused on their job. And Whitby gets the kick away as Minchella was advancing, and here comes Burgess looking to return with menace. But not far before he's...
He loves that, doesn't he, Joe Burgess? Really drops the foot down, presses the accelerator. It was good set, good play from Saints after points.
Here's May. Hiku's made a bit of a move on the inside. He fancies this carry. Trying to urge his side back inside St Helens territory. It's a lovely warm evening, by the way, here in East Yorkshire, if you're watching at home. Sunshine still dappling the terracing at the moment. But this is Lytton. And now Minchella. Footsteps a go-go as he takes it forward. 1 play to go. Lytton again. Mikey Lewis will just stick that high in the air. It's being chased hard, but Wellesby always favourite to get there, and unpicking himself from a couple of defenders and finding a place 10 metres out.
They're finding their way back into this game, not just with the points on the scoreboard. It was a good set with the ball, a better set defensively for St Helens, although they've got a long look upfield to get to the try line. It's even Stevens here now.
Here's Clark again, readying them for another charge. Sirinen flicking it back, caught round the thighs, but still got the arms free. Walmsley throws it back to the middle of the park again. And Lees just trying to find a path through the middle. Here's Clark, Whitby, Wellesby, and Percival. That's Saylor travelling on the outside, but Percival trying to bludgeon his way through, and with 1 to go, St Helens are still 10 short of the halfway line as Whitby puts it up there. The bounce could have been awkward, but in the end it's an easy one for Morg to take. And was he caught high? Yes, he was.
Mistake in defence again. As they get back into the defensive positions, you can see with his feet widespread, lunging forward, Mark Percival. He's got such good footwork, Artyom Morg. I'd like to know how many times players defending and tackling him get penalised. St Helens seem to have played the bulk of this game, coming away from their own end. You can see on the graphic there, can't you? St Helens and Hulkie are the leaders in play the balls in their own 20-metre area. First and second, they top the charts in so many of the key performance indicators, so many metrics that teams are judged on.
And again, there's a hold up here because Whitley, I think it is, he's just getting a bit of treatment. Tackles so far. And 4 out of 5 of the top 5 have been St Helens forwards who've had to do all the work. I think the referee's having a word with the video referee again here as well, to see if this is more than just a penalty. Is he? No, he's not. Whitley's okay.
It is almost unfair on a player with such agility and such a sharp change of direction. And players are running at speed, mistakes will happen.
It's a game that's not really hit its flow so far, is it? We've seen 3 tries, one ruled out by the video referee as well, but a little bit bitty, not quite found a real rhythm so far.
Move now, Morgan.
But this is Lytton now, as Hodgkinson Rovers find themselves in familiar territory. St Helens half of the field, midway through this first half. Driven in by Sue. Getting some decent after contact meters. And a knock on. Alex Walmsley threw it away because he was convinced that had been spilled. And the referee says, yep, untidy. And it just does feel untidy at the
Another
moment,
captain's challenge, Woodsy, so early.
Yeah.
That's 2 in the first 20 minutes.
OKR are challenging the ruling of a knock-on.
So we have a challenge on field of the ruling of a knock-on. We'll just go on to this, please.
That's what I thought, yeah. He's going to review it now.
You can see he's got possession of the ball there. Just go on to that. And turn it, flip it round to the other side if we can. On here. You can see he's got possession of the ball, and as Darryl Clark's arm comes out, his arm comes out. So Darryl Clark is pulling, and he has his hand on the ball. Let's just go into another angle, just make sure I've got that right. Make sure he doesn't knock on Pryor. No, I can't see anything there. Go back to the first angle. So you can clearly see that the Hull KR man has possession of the ball with his right hand, and as Clark comes out with that flick of the wrist, he then steals the ball. The challenge is successful, and it is a penalty to Hull KR.
Another good one.
Penalty for Hodgkinson Rovers.
I think he's got both of them right, Ben Thale. I think more importantly, the players have felt justified. As I said, they're getting to understand if you give them away so early in the game, it can bite you at the back end. Darryl Clark has hold of the ball, reefs it out.
White line. Okay.
But we have had a lot of stoppages in this game so far for one reason or another. Let's hope we're clear of that and we can just get some fluidity here. This is May. And Morg at speed coming in, but well gathered by Dion Cross. Well, in fact, not well gathered. It's a high tackle, referee decides.
Again, it's Artie Morg. Smaller player.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't really change direction there. I can't really defend that tackle. His hips are facing the sideline. He reaches behind him.
Oh, well, if Barry McDermott can't defend a tackle, you know you're in trouble. And again, the referee in conversation with a video ref to decide the outcome of this situation, other than just a penalty. Will there be an outcome other than just a penalty?
You're right, Woodsy, a lot of tackling, a lot of penalties.
No, it's contact with the head, direct contact with the head. The mitigation is that he's falling. It's going to be 10 minutes.
Simbin.
1 minute.
Simbin, Ian Cross.
Find the way.
Disappears.
Johnny.
21 minutes played. You might be looking at your watches and thinking only 21 minutes played. Well, that is the case. 21 minutes played. And St Helens down to 12 for the next 10 minutes, however long they last.
He's so quick and so elusive. He really stresses defenders out individually. Paul Wellens knows his team are going to have to play the next 10 minutes with 12 men. As I said, 4 penalties in 10 minutes.
And straight away under pressure because of the position on the ground. Offered back in for Tanganoa. Hits a turnstile on his way through, but then finds a locked door ahead. This is Lytton. Minchella has to reach. Sue again, just thudding in there. And that big body of his hitting into that St Helens defensive line. Lytton again. It's back with Minchella. And look at the numbers here. And the ball went over the top. Burgess tries to get it back inside, but Broadbent caught in possession as he drops on it. They seem to have a 4 against 1 there for just a moment, but couldn't take advantage. Whitbread again. Edging closer. Lytton. Minchella. May. And while he was making his mind up, the defensive effort came in from Knowles, and St Helens have it back again and carried forward by Cyrano.
That's terrific work from Morgan Knowles. Rather than stand and watch Tyrone May dictate where he wants that ball to go, hits him, dislodges the ball, and that's a great carry forward, trying to lift his teammates here. Cyrano picks it up and gobbles another couple of metres forward.
Alex Walmsley is off for the moment. A well-earned rest. St Helens advancing without him at the moment. Here's Clark. And an explosive attempt by Matthew Lees. 2 plays to go in this set. St Helens edging closer. And got themselves back on at the score sheet, back in contention.
Work in the middle over St Helens.
Here's Clark. Whitby sticking it up high in the air. Morg underneath it, and well, he's done incredibly well to keep hold of that. My goodness, there's a circus act looking for some juggler of his talent.
Jack Wellsby was putting all kinds of pressure on him to catch it. He almost has it. Tristan Saylor might have been a case for a knock-on as it hit Saylor. 2 other matches tonight, of course, taking place. Salford nil, Wigan at 16. That is very much to be expected. And Warrington 16, Castleford 4. Castleford start the night 4 points behind at Warrington on the league table. And Warrington, of course, with a Challenge Cup to look forward to. Here comes Burgess. Cutting back on the inside. Some really nice handling. Kalepi Tanganoa on that occasion.
Reminder below of what's coming up this weekend as well. Lewis with a kick. Saints looking for the return. Murphy stopped in action, with Batchelor making that tackle. Decent carry. Wellsby slotting in. This is Clark. Arms outstretched. Wants to get things going. Delaney.
That's a good carry from Delaney, ever present this year for St Helens.
Clark again. Just saw a bit of offside ahead of him, so takes advantage of that, and the referee gives another set of 6 as well. Restarts the count. The experienced Darryl Clark milking that situation, making the most of it. Clark again. Lomax. Delaney. Inside defence is more than good enough.
Sam Lockley slammed the door shut.
Lomax back to Wellsby, who's just trying to smuggle ball and body beyond the attempts of Tyrone May, but Clark. Knowles running at Lockley, just putting his shoulder into the chest of the big Geordie. Clark on the last play. Delaney to his left, but behind him it goes to Lomax. Oh, and it's not the best of passes. And Wellsby's furious. Has a little of a sharp look at his teammate. Has a few words for the physio on the field.
You can see what Johnny Lomax is trying to do. He's trying to take it right into the teeth of the defence and commit some defenders and create some space for Jack Wellsby, but the pass is behind him.
Tell you what, if Luke's good kill from the St Helens fullback.
They know they've hardly been down here, have they? So every time they do get down here, they've got to do something, ask some questions, or make Hull KR work hard to get away.
This is Hicker with a carry, and Lytton again lining up at dummy half and trying to get St Helens in trouble again as Hulkington Rovers look for breathing room here. Broadbent, well read by the Saints defence, up and at them, and very much in their face. Saylor leading that chase. This is Burgess. And now there's an offering on this right-hand side, but Batchelor. Lytton. Luckley. A straightforward effort by him. But they've hit the last, they've one play to go, and they're still deep inside their own territory. It's back with Mikey Lewis again, who's certainly behind the 40 when he lets fly with that, but Wellesby covering across the angle not produced in terms of the kick, if the 40-20 was the intent. And it's St Helens, who Sailor are being carried back a little here.
It looks like you're getting your wish, Dave, doesn't it? There's an arm wrestle broken out, and both teams look like they want to improve those completion rates. St Helens, 90% completion rate so far. Okay, just less than 80.
Wickley with a more than decent carry forward again, and Clark against his opposite number. Lytton wins that little personal battle, and St Helens though again hitting the last play of the set as Whitby just sending it long rather than over high, and Burgess backpedaling is always favourite to take that in and just tests what's coming.
See
Still 12 on the field, of course, St Helens, just to remind you.
You can see both sets are forward. Yeah, Dion Cross, he's the player sat down. St Helens defending and attacking with 12 players. You can see players taking a rest where and when they can. 28, 29 minutes on the clock. As you've said a few times, it hasn't really got into the fatigue factor yet for anybody.
This is Hiku. It's not one of the most standout matches of the season so far, is it? But quality in both teams.
It's a contest, Dave. That's what both teams will be looking forward to. Getting something out of the contest, staying in the grind. Don't be the team that gives up.
Lewis a little chip and a chase, just making life interesting for Wellesby, who has the bounce to carry it up, and chase is good enough from Lewis and Burgess to make sure that Wellesby's going no further. Looks a little hurt as well there, doesn't he? Jack Wellesby. Oh, Sailor looking for the outside path. I think he's lost the ball, has he? Yes, he has.
Well, listen to that roar from the fans. Jack Broadbent makes the tackle on Tristan Sailor, who's veering and swerving, trying to find a little gap. It's a nice low tackle, and as he hits the ground, the ball just bursts out of his control. You talked about the game being scrappy, Dave. Sometimes coaches are looking at the players saying, right, who's the player that's going to control and take some ownership, start to steer the side around. George Whitby's done that so many occasions so far this year for St Helens, and Tyrone May and Mikey Lewis sharing that responsibility. What an exciting prospect he is. You mentioned prospect before. Prospect is only good when it's useful now.
Here's Lewis, but quickly snaffled up by Percival, who read that situation early and got in place to make sure nothing too dangerous occurred from there. Minchella, and now Luckley, who knows one way, and that's straightforward. And if there are fellas in his way, he'll try and take them with him. And Lytton, Minchella, and May, and look at the numbers here. Broadbent gets it away. Burgess throwing it back on the inside. Still they keep it alive, but it's St Helens who rescue that.
It's a good scramble, isn't it? They managed to get bodies in the frame, and although the lateral lines of running of Hull KR meant it was always going to be a squeeze in the corner, bodies got across and made it impossible for Hull KR. Look at the urgency in defence. It's terrific work from Mark Percival.
Clark having a look around.
Hold. Go third. Well done, Sam.
Iggy Passy adding his weight to the situation. Lomax again. Surinam. Swirling, curving run from him, but not for too many strides. Dion Cross is about to come back onto the field, as you can see, so St Helens not having suffered any damage whilst down to 12. It's leaking a little energy, but nothing worse than that. And Morg, as Hawkins the Rovers look to get back on the front foot here again. Another set inside their opponent's half. Davis. Here's Lytton. Another set of 6.
They're just desperate to play the ball to try and slow it down, St Helens. They'd give a couple of penalties away.
Minchella and
Ribeiro on the field.
One of your fellas, isn't he, from Saddleworth? Getting a chance here. They like the look of him, don't they? They think they've got a player here.
He's a fine athlete. Saddleworth Rangers started, of course, in 2020 at Warrington. With a little bit of Bradford, Widnes. And he's here trying to make a name for himself and maybe give a headache to Willie Peters next week.
Here's Lytton with a very clever kick through, and Broadbent on the front foot will score his second of the night. Intelligence there. They've tried to unravel them round the edges without any success. But there, the kick did the damage, and Broadbent in hot pursuit as Holkingster Rovers push out to 16 points to 4.
Well, it's the old adage, a kick is only as good as its chase, and the chase is outstanding. Jez Lytton, as he does, week in, week out probing, scheming, trying to create something from nothing. He pops out from 9, just dabs it behind the defensive line. He's chasing hard, but Jack Broadbent, he's chasing harder.
It's
The detail and the control that they play the ball is absolutely miles off from St Helens. As a defender on the floor, he doesn't get up at marker. That's the reason he pops out and examines what's available. Jez Lytton, Willie Peters again up and applauding his number 9.
Well, he'll have loved the skill levels there, won't he? I think sometimes we overlook the skill levels involved in little kicks like that, but the balance at pace to put it in with a perfect weight, the perfect bounce, the communication with his centre, all of that was high class.
There might not have been any communication. It's just up on your toes, having a look, being in a position to chase hard if the kick goes in. And 7 tries in his last 6. He's having a good run at the minute, Jack Broadbent.
Potential Wembley hero next week, as we were saying. He might be playing at full-back instead of this fella, who's cup tied for the final. Matamord looking for his 3rd success of the night. If he can put this over, settles back and hits it well and scoops it high and puts it exactly where it needs to be. 18 points to 4. He's word perfect with a boot so far, as is this fella with a boot on the run.
Oh, it's just beautiful skill, isn't it? Nice dab through the line. A wonderful pick-up. Body angle is perfect, but it goes all the way back to the play of the ball. They're losing the ruck. Hull KR dictating pace, and St Helens, whenever they try to slow the game down at the play of the ball, they end up giving penalties away in 6 against.
Stay on.
Well, have a look at that. That's a forlorn look, isn't it? Jack Welsby off the field, and you can only imagine an injury there. It's hardly likely to be a tactical switch, is it? Oh, Uribe Doro.
Off the back fence, as they say.
Crashing that one in.
Wait. Go on.
Just looking for contact, physical as it can possibly be.
Move now. Hold. Go to Mark.
Here's Minchella.
3. Move now, Johnny. Ignatius back. Wait.
He's a big, powerful thing. He's looking for another carry, isn't it?
Oh no, it's gone beyond. It's gone beyond. It's going to be Luckley instead here from Newcastle, and there's the delicacy of the offload, and Lewis is in full flight. Robertson's after him, but Mikey has seen glory, and he never turns down that kind of opportunity. A little cheeky look, but my goodness, what about the pace? What about that pace? He's wearing number 6 this year in honour of the great Roger Millward, and I tell you what, Roger Millward will be looking down with a nod of the head, because that was one of his landmark features, that ability to just scoot.
Ears back, absolute ruthless from Mikey Lewis. His 6th consecutive try against St Helens. He loves playing against the Red V. But unsurprisingly, I'm going to credit the carries and the intensity of those carries. Sam Luckley, get out of my way, presents the ball, beautiful offload that creates the line break for Mikey Lewis. That's off the back of a big carry from Uribe Doro. 3rd game for Hull KR. He loves it, doesn't he? And those fans love him back.
Doesn't he just? Doesn't he just? Yeah, you say about the 6th consecutive game he scored. It's now 7 tries in those 6 games. He fills his boots when Saints are in town.
All the talk in the week before a final is, does a player think about it? Is he holding back? You can't afford to hold back. And he didn't hold back when he was in full flight, Mikey Lewis. He knew he had to pin his ears back. He had to beat defenders. And that scratchy period has gone for Hull KR now.
Well, Roger Millward's reputation, his legend was built on a Wembley performance against Hull FC many years ago. I wonder if Mikey Lewis is going to be doing something similar next week, building his legend at this club on that Wembley platform. Meantime, back in the reality of this situation, and more again. Oh, it's the post this time. But 22 points to 4 represents a very healthy and deserved lead at the moment for Hull KR.
There is so much push through from this team. You watch how many times when carting the ball forward, players are breaking the line, making themselves available. If Mikey Lewis gives up on that carry from Sam Luckley, if he doesn't anticipate there might be something for him, he doesn't get that offload and he doesn't score that wonder try.
Stay on.
This is 14th for the season, isn't it, in when you add them up all, Challenge Cup, Super League, 14 for Mikey Lewis.
And that's
Doro again. Wait, oh, Delaney was like the front skittle. He went cartwheeling backwards.
wow! Put your body in front of that.
Boom! Oh,
And he's no slouch either. George Delaney.
and on the back of that, okay, coming again. Tanganoa looking for an offload. Hiku was
Well, we all
loitering.
get excited. We didn't notice the graphic where Hull KR lead the league in line breaks. They're first with 80, and that is probably because of the amount of push through around the ball carrier. They end up with one-on-one tackles.
Always Litton, a little bit of a scoot. Grabbed a hold off by Iggy Passy. Another set of 6 here.
6 offloads from Hull KR. He's here again.
He's not quite got a full run up this time.
Love it, off the back fence.
It's coming off the medium pacers run up on that one. It's back with Minchella. May. And now Moore. Dion Cross, having had his enforced rest, is doing well with that defensive effort. It's back with Litton. Lewis. Litton again. They're lining up. Doro wanted it, almost got in the way. Luckley is the man who gets it. I wonder if there's a potential, you know, this is very near to full strength. From Hull KR's point of view, I wonder if there is a potential for someone like Doro to play themselves into a Wembley position next week. Lewis with a kick over the top, gets a lucky Riche, goes to Robertson, gets the pass away. Minchella's under the post. It is a thing of beauty. An artist would have taken weeks to paint that one. Hull Rovers, just a few seconds, and the portrait is on the canvas, and Hull Rovers lead to a 26-ball lead.
Well, surprisingly, it's Elliot Minchella's first try of the season. But again, put it down to push, push, push. When the line is broken, when the opportunity presents itself, everybody flooding forward. There's no doubt it's a little genius act here. Left-footed kick, takes a ricochet. Kalepi Tanganoa thinks about supporting, thinks the little fella's going to get this try on his own. But Elliot Minchella, who makes the pass, keeps moving, just in case there's something for me, and there it is. You make your own luck in this game. In full command at the minute, Hull KR.
I wonder what point he starts thinking, Matty Pete starts thinking, Matty Pete, where did that come from? Willie Peters starts thinking about bringing key players off.
That's a great question, isn't it? A great question. It might be somewhere around 60, 65 minutes. If the scoreboard still looks as it does, if it doesn't and it's a close game, 2 competition points is very important. They talk about focusing on performance. Get your performance right, hit your KPIs, the result will come.
This will be the last kick of the half, a half that has been splendid from Hull Rovers' point of view. Hooter sound as Morg sticks it over, as is so often the case for Willie Peters' side. It is Mikey Lewis who has stolen the show late in that first half with a try of his own and one he created. And at half-time, Hulkingster Rovers lead St Helens by 28 points to 4.
Dave Barry, thank you very much. Yes, Saints, back-to-back wins against the Catalan Dragons, and Huddersfield knew this would be the real test of their form in Super League. They trail by 12 points to 4. This will come.
Yeah, give Sam Luckley minutes, give Ebidoro minutes, give Brown minutes. They're desperate to play more. Here's a chance.
Oh, they are a well-tuned outfit, Hull KR. What can they produce in the second half? They've impressed everybody pitch side, and no doubt our commentary team as we go back to Barry McDermott and Dave Woods.
Thank you, Brian. Well, a question about St Helens as well, because as we've been talking about throughout the night, 7 wins so far for Paul Whelan's side, but it's the defeats that have been particularly painful, 5 of those. This, if it carries on this way, will be a second defeat to Hull KR this season. Warrington, Wigan, well, Warrington twice, Wigan and Leeds. So when they look up, they've not been able to compete, they've not been able to win against those sides that, if you're a grand final potential, those are the kind of games you should be winning. Some of those in a regular season.
You're right, Dave, and that's what those great teams do. I've just been...
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
My lips, knowing who's going to get it.
Ebidoro.
Well, over in Australia, New South Wales have a forward who runs onto the ball like that called Spencer Linyu, and he could give Willie Peters a real headache, could Ebidoro. I think there's a mistake at the play of the ball here.
Yeah.
Gives himself up.
Maybe brain scrambled.
Yeah, so it's fixed.
He's just forgot to play the ball with his foot.
So I didn't have to hook it or not.
So, St Helens given an early opportunity here, and boy do they need it. Boy do they need to start quickly in this second half. Just inject a little bit of self-confidence.
They need to score first, without a doubt, St Helens.
Well, what can they make of it? George Delaney, who was tippled over by Doro's, one of Doro's run in the first half, carrying it in. Clark, Robertson's inside ball, and Lees again goes clattering forward. So St Helens have set themselves up here in a nice position. Clark again looking to make things happen. Dummy shown by Passy. Spun to the ground by the Hull KR defence. Clark, a little dummy and a show, and Percival slips over on the back of Whitby's pass. This is slow because Percival is obviously hurt. That is a concern as Passy goes driving in, but Percival is hobbling back to the line here. As we heard from Jenna, Wellesby's already off with a knee issue. Lomax with a kick to that in-goal area, but it doesn't quite find all the dots joined. It's overcooked. No real chase on that, and Hull KR get the tap back on the 20.
It looks a poor kick because of the pressure put on Johnny Lomax. Doesn't get any time to think about what he's going to do with the ball. He catches it and kicks it in the same motion. They're getting all the little facets of the game right, Hull KR, and beating St Helens in every single one of them.
There's Hickert with that latest carry. Litton just issuing instructions out wide to what he wants to happen and where he's going to deliver that ball, but advancing with a little bit of menace here beyond the outstretched arms of Doro and into the hands of Luckley.
They just can't get him to ground, can they?
And Doro again has seen a bit of an angle, a bit of a space in which to run. And you can hear the appreciation. The Uribe Doro Appreciation Club is building it nicely here tonight. St Helens working hard, having to do to thwart the growing ambitions of the Robins here. Lewis sticks it up in the air, and there's a challenge for that as well, but it's taken well by Murphy, given all the traffic coming his way. But look where Saints are starting again, perilously close to their own line.
Even when they catch the ball, they're under pressure. Lewis Murphy barely has time to catch that ball, and he's tackled. Look at how hard they're going to have to work to get anywhere near the 40-metre line to put a decent kick in.
There's a seemingly recovered Percival on carry 3 in this set. They're only up to the 10-metre mark. Saylor, he's being pushed back. That carry, the net gain was about a yard. A step, a stride. Clark, Delaney. And that was a high one, I think. I think luckily he's caught him high. And that is a big advantage for St Helens. That's a big stroke of luck from their point of view.
Well, full credit to George Delaney, taking that ball forward, knowing 3 or 4 players in front of him are in the starting blocks and looking to knock him back to where he's come from. He's a brave player, Delaney.
They were in danger of having to kick from deep and find themselves back under increasing pressure there, Saints, but now, on the back of that, can they grow in confidence and grow in ambition? It's Lees. It's good from him. Finding a path. A little bit of a release. Clark again. Sailors come running to the middle of the field. Delaney. Decent carry and a penalty. So penalty has taken St Helens potentially the length of the field here.
Well, there are 2 sides to the game, aren't there? Carrying the ball is just one of them, and Aribi Doro, whilst trying to control George Delaney in his determined run, unfortunately penalised for helping the ball on its way.
So a couple of little scrappy moments for Doro. Sailor, and now Lomax trying to put the step on. Clark over there quickly. 3 and now 4 to his left-hand side because Robertson's gone over. Well, they're creeping closer from where they started, from where they were ending the first set just about 5 minutes ago. This is a terrific position that St Helens find themselves in here. Whitley. Clark across quickly. Baines right goes left. Lees now. And Whitby with a big dummy that nobody's buying. Right into the hands of the opposition. Clark again. Now it's with Lomax. And a little step here, but Cross is caught in possession, and the referee says that's the last of them. So St Helens will have the ball back. Hull KR will have the ball back again.
Dean Cross ends up with the ball. It felt a little bit too easy to read for the defenders of Hull KR. It might be energy, it might be confidence. But although they marched their way through a couple of penalties up to this end of the field, they don't look threatening, do they?
Well, they've not lacked fluidity, have they, in the last couple of games? What is it, 88 points they've scored? But against Catalan, a kind of a distracted Catalan and a disappointing Huddersfield side a week ago. This is a sterner test, of course it is tonight, but you'd have thought they'd have brought into this contest a bit more confidence with ball in hand when attacking their opponent's line. So far, yet to really deliver, just the one try. Lewis Murphy. Here's Luckley. Trying to push him off and get the arm free, but that's not going to happen. Big wrestle on. Last play to come, Lytton. Lewis gets that kick away. Caught by Sailor. And the line is good, the chase is good from Hull KR, doing what they need to do, getting up there, cutting down the options as Whitby comes out of dummy half and throws it to Murphy, and Murphy is hunted down, but it's good movement left, and Cross will bring it back towards the middle where Lytton's ready and waiting, as was Minchella.
Moses Mbai on the field for St Helens now. Darrell Clark going to get a rest.
Well, he had something. No, here he is, Moses Mbai. He's got a bit of spark, hasn't he? A bit of bounce.
He's going to need a quick ruck. He's going to need a fast play of the ball to do anything, though, Dave. They haven't had that many all night.
Delaney again. Ball gone, 2 to go. This is Mbai. And Whitby to Percival. And Percival trying to shrug off a determined Mikey Lewis there, who just held on and waiting for his mates to arrive and make sure the job was finished. And then Percival loses a moment or two when he takes a tumble. Kick from Whitby is high. Morg underneath it. They all have to hold it back because they've gone ahead of the kicker, so there was offside there potentially, so make the job easier from Morg's point of view. Here's Burgess. There's a quietness around the ground. A normally noisy place on a Friday night, but I think they're settled on watching their team in full control here.
And I dare say, amongst the terraces, amongst the fans, they're all having the same debate that we've had, the studio guests have had. At what point are you going to take some of those key players off?
What point are they going to leave early, get themselves ready for Wembley next week?
Well, they won't leave early with these tries keep coming thick and fast.
The ball came out. They're going to St Helens touch on that. Yes, I think it did. So it will be Holkar who get it back again. And they're quick. They're quick to form a scrum here because they want to get on with it.
Nice, yeah, that nice flick, that nice roll from Pettick. Lewis Murphy just gets his hand to it.
So play the ball, not a scrum.
He was away. Tom Davis comes in. It's the right play. Gets hold of the ball. Ribidoro with another powerful charge.
And now Lytton. Minchella to May. Back on the angle again. Decent carry by Whitbread. And then Lytton's dancing and darting, but Mbai's all over him, pushing into the ground. Sam Luckley at dummy half. Don't get a nosebleed, Sam. Just deliver the pass. Here it comes. Carefully selected kick again, but Saylor skirts away from 1, 2, 3 defenders. Make that 4, but then there's Doro, and there's no more.
Runs into a brick wall. It was a smart kick on the third tackle from Holkar, challenging Saints to come upfield, but good determined run from Tristan Saylor.
Hit the big fella at your peril. Well, this is looking interesting here from a St Helens point of view. But the defensive recovery is good. Harry Robertson crushed to the ground. This is Matty Lees. I said it before, you can physically see the Johnny Lomax influence on this team, can't you, with the youngsters who come through wearing the scrum caps. Trademark of his, of course, after that terrible injury very early in his life.
George Whitby is fast becoming the first choice kicker for his side.
There's Moore just drifting, ghosting past the first chasing defender.
Got to be careful when you're chasing and trying to attempt to tackle on him, because not only is he elusive and evasive and quick, he's so short you're very likely to give a penalty away. Nice work from the big fella there, Ribidoro.
Yeah, he's off, Sue's back on.
Holkar getting a look at what they're going to get for the next couple of years. He could develop into a real top player.
And there's Sue getting the chance with his first carry since his return. Lytton comes left. Mikey Lewis with a skip and inviting Tanginoa to engage those St Helens defenders. Lewis puts it high. I think May might be offside here, but it doesn't matter because he's not going to get there. But St Helens again pinned, you know. I mean, Ilkington Rovers without the flashbang wallop, without the real eye-catching moments, they're doing a job in terms of keeping St Helens at this end of the field.
It's just smart, isn't it? It's just tightening the screw, making Saints work. As soon as that ball was caught by Saints on the first tackle, there was probably 8 players behind the ball just walking. And if they're walking, if they're not back on side, they're not making themselves available.
What was your message to yourself in big games like this ahead of Wembley finals and grand finals? Oh, that ball's gone through.
Treat it as any other game, but I think I agree with John Wilkin. It's inevitable, you can't. First mistake from George Delaney.
It was a clumsy one, wasn't it?
He's
unexpected.
He's done a good job since he come on for his side. Carried the ball forward, defended strong, but yeah, it's just a difficult one. You've got to show your professionalism, do your job, do it to the best of your ability.
Mikey, I'll tell you when. George, get tighter.
And Ian Proctor, our researcher, reminded me I had a terrible game against Bradford the week before 2005 and I got dropped for it.
Oh, did you?
So you don't want to go at it.
Well, if you'd have played instead of Keith Senior that day, you might have won.
Well, there you go.
Anyway.
Ifs, buts and maybes, Dave.
Ilkington Rovers back in possession and in prime position. And so Asa Sue is looking at running over defenders to try and get his side closer to the line again. Lewis with a dummy. 2 went one way, but 1 came back in, and I think Mikey's lost it here. Yes, he has. Mikey Lewis loses the ball, a little over-ambitious.
It's that show and go that he's got, slams the left foot down.
Yeah, where do you want it? 20.
And St Helens are going to have to celebrate the wins where and when they come. There might have been an arm to help that on its way from George Delaney.
The referee didn't see it that way, and Mikey Lewis has chosen not.
They've both still got the captain's challenges, of
yeah.
course, haven't they? They've had one successful one each.
Middles keep working on the 10, it's good.
I think Mikey Lewis was just conducting the St Helens fans who might have been chanting things at him there. Mikey Lewis just engaging with them. In the meantime, St Helens looking to clear the decks again to try and get themselves downfield. The importance of this game will not be lost on all those who follow Saints.
Another little win, Dave.
Yeah, another penalty.
Slow up.
The energy to fight and play the ball quick forces that.
Red line! Red line!
Whitley's found touch. Halfway line tap and go from Matt Whitley.
Stand now, Clippy. Jess, wait!
Here's Mbai.
Go on. Jesse!
This is Walmsley. And a penalty offside. So Asasu was just couldn't restrain himself there. I think it was him.
Sam's offside.
He was called offside.
Not
Elliot
well.
Vincella's pleading his teammate's case. It's clearly offside.
Well, it's another back-to-back penalty for St Helens, which has taken them from one end of the field to the other. Last time they were here, they couldn't make anything of it. Can they do it this time? Mbai. Walmsley wants it. Walmsley has it, and there's the effort. It's another penalty.
It's Jesse Sue again. He's offside. He's being shouted at by the referee. You can't say he hasn't had the communication.
Tidy it up, you've got to listen.
So here we go again, another set. Delaney with a carry. Delaney hitting hard. 3 in the white and red, making sure he can go no further. So Mbai stands and waits. And here it comes. Oh, the defensive line is moving out quickly, but it's shrugged away by Robertson, and Robertson just almost flicking the hips into defenders and bouncing off, but they hold on. Mbai. It's a cross. Knowles' pass goes to ground, but it's picked up by Lomax, and here's a chance, and what a finish that is from Lewis Murphy. Oh my goodness. Second of the night, if this is given. There was some acrobatics involved in this.
Check touch and grounding, please.
Well, we all want to have a look at this again. Touch and grounding is what we're looking for. Video referee.
We have a live try on field. If we just go nice and slow on this. In the corner. So he's in the field of play. He's still in the field of play. That foot's in the field of play. It's all green, you can see. All green. Now he jumps. He's jumped from the field of play. His legs are in the air. They're clearly in the air. They're clearly in the air. Just go back on this one. Because if you go down on this, he's not touching out the field of play. But if you look, when the ball is grounded on the touch in goal line. Thank you, I've now made my decision.
Oh, that's a shame.
Inches, isn't
that's
it?
a shame, isn't it? That is a shame.
It looked like the try he scored against Huddersfield last week in the corner, didn't it? He got that one right. This week, nil point.
It was almost a case there for saying, did the ball touch the green before it hit the white? But that would have been half an hour that we would not have wanted to have lived through.
No.
So we got the quick decision. No try.
No try. Touch and goal. 20-metre restart.
20-metre restart, as we heard. But what an effort that was from Lewis Murphy.
He's making that a speciality, and you can bet your bottom dollar he's spending a large part of his week at training practicing scenarios like that. It looks like he's picked up a bang. He was holding his quad when he'd put the ball down. Physio strapping it. Looks like a cork, a dead leg, hematoma, whatever you want to call it.
He was doing that kind of thing for fun, wasn't he, when he was playing at Wakefield a couple of weeks ago, which earned him a year at the Sydney Roosters, but back here at St Helens.
Well, there you go, Dave. But you're right, yeah, we haven't got time.
Not looking healthy.
Stay quick, Mark.
Meantime, on we go. Very nearly an hour played, 28-4.
The important thing for St Helens, confidence-wise, is they've threatened the line, they've got over the line, and we're at 2 inches a little bit further in, they'd have scored
Mikey Lewis is laying a complaint there with the referee about the slowness of that ruck.
Because he knows, he recognises when they're at the best, they've got a fast ruck.
Back comes Hickok, seeking out shoulders to see if he can bounce them away, but he can't. Sternly done by St Helens. Minchella. Jack Brown on the field.
Move Moses, Johnny back. Go for it. Johnny, you're off, Johnny.
May, pops one over the
lovely
top.
ball, beautiful
Brilliant,
ball.
brilliant handling. And Davis comes cutting back on the inside. Shepherded well, good chasing defence there from Curtis Surinam, but Hulkingston Rovers still have it. And having gone close on the right-hand side, here they come on the left. Oh, and Kalepi Tanganoa forgets to keep hold of the ball. And it all comes to naught, but thrilling stuff.
What a ball it was to release the winger over on that right side. Kalepi Tanganoa riding tackles, bumping off players. Beautiful pass, wasn't it, from Tyrone Main? Again, wonderful skills, catch and pass in the save movement from Petter Hiku. All comes to nothing. As you say, the fullback, Artie Morg, gives it to the big back rower in space on the edge, but a flood of defenders.
George, I'll tell you when.
Credit where it's due from St Helens. I'm just looking at the sideline to see activity, and I reckon it's about now. It's about 60-65 minutes. Willie Peters will have a half a mind on next week, and those that want and need will be interchanged.
I mean, 24, Delaney's lost it. Sue picks it up, and suddenly Hulkingston Rovers are driving back to where they want to be. Just clumsy, unnecessary, and potentially costly.
Stop walking forward, wait down.
Stop stepping off the mark. Used to be a penalty, that.
He's done a good job tonight, Liam Rush.
Yep. So 0 tackle, 6 to go from here. Hulkingston Rovers, their road to Wembley has been paved with victories. This looks like another winning step towards that big final next week.
Move now. Did you say Whitby or Whitley?
Been told from the touchline there's only 3 interchanges left, though, for Rovers at the moment, so they have to be a little picky, a little careful.
Move now, George, back.
Because there are still 20 minutes left to play. Don't want to be down on numbers by getting it wrong tactically. And into the line comes Morg, and he's just short. But it's a penalty. It's a penalty. Another of those.
Offside.
I think he's
Gotta make the line.
Offside.
Dion, offside.
Well, the more time Hulkier spend down here, the more inevitable it becomes. They're going to post points.
I think, is that Lewis Murphy who's coming off on that far side as well? Yes, it is.
Matili's coming on, and it looks like...
Lewis Murphy. So I tell you what, that's
Matt Whitley's gone to centre, sorry, Dave.
Yeah. Here's Sue, that's a like for like. I'd love to see Matty Lees diving in at the corner.
Well, he's gone in the middle.
Yeah.
Whitley's gone in the centre, and Dion Cross has gone on the wing.
Litton throws it out. Minchella helps it on. May goes wide. Here comes Hiku now. Reassembled. St Helens left side defence does its job on that occasion. But there's another set of 6 to come. It's just set after set after set at the moment. St Helens having to work so hard as Whitbread drives it in. Tyrone May spins it back. Here's Lewis with the dummy, and off he darts, and it's another. It's another moment of specialness. A taunting of the St Helens fans, a tongue pulled, a kiss blown, but take nothing away from how good that was again. Second of the night, his 8th now in 6 games against Saints. His 12th Super League try of the season, his 15th in total. His record just keeps getting better and better and better.
And doesn't he love his work? He's got the ball, approaching defenders, got it in 2 hands, sells a dummy. All the talk and excitement in the last couple of weeks about George Whitby. Well, what does he do? Turns him inside out when he's got the ball in hands. And listen, Super League fans, you are not going to rattle this player. Don't waste your time trying to rile him, trying to get him going, because he absorbs all that. He feeds off it, turns it round, and comes up with moments like that.
Well, the bread and butter is pretty special, isn't it, from Mikey Lewis? By his own admission, it's the big games in which he has to produce. A little anonymous in the grand final last year. Hoping to make up for that with a Challenge Cup next week. And who knows, in an England shirt against Australia at the end of the season as well. In the meantime, Morg is ready. Telling the ball where he wants it to go. Here we go, and the kick from the touchline looks pretty good, and it is pretty good. It is 34 points to 4.
Well, Dave, let's go all the way back to that no trade. You called it, you said there may be a touch when Lewis Murphy gets this ball down. Let's not forget, I think in the beauty and acrobatics of the try, we forgot that it went up as a try. So the video ref, Ben Thaler, had to find resounding evidence that it wasn't. He's obviously paid the ultimate price with that bang on his thigh, but that's effectively killed the game off. A no try for St Helens. Hull KR go up the other end and score the try, and with 17 and a bit minutes left, it's hard to find a way back into this game for Saints.
And Jenna Brooks, what have you got from us from the touchline?
We just saw a shot of Lewis Murphy there, the Saints winger. He, as we know, has got that leg injury, quad injury. Tyrone May right there. We've been talking since they took that big lead. What is Willie Peters going to do? Who's he going to rest? Who's he going to rotate? Well, I can tell you, May there has come off a well-earned rest for him ahead of Wembley in 8 days' time. That man there, Ollie Leyland, has come on in his place.
Thank you, Jenna. Well, he did get a bang, didn't he, early on? Very, very early in the piece, Tyrone there. I just wonder whether he's carrying something as a result of that.
Oh dear. Mikey Lewis looked like he took a knock.
Oh, and he's holding the back of the hamstring. There's a kick away. Lewis not involved. He's hobbling at the moment. I think if it was a hamstring, he wouldn't be moving like he is at the moment. He looks like he's trying to run this off, and I think if it was a hammer, he'd be straight off, wouldn't he?
It was a bit of a knock, an awkward fall when he was tackled. Big opportunity for the replacement hooker, Billy Leyland here.
Yeah, a man who didn't get an opportunity. Billy Who last year, wasn't it, when he was at London, because he got the injury pre-season, and it looked as though his chance in Super League had gone, but he gets a second chance with Hull KR this season, and a rare opportunity here tonight as well. But here comes Walmsley. Game 300 in a St Helens shirt will not have been memorable for Alex tonight, you wouldn't think. Lomax. Almost rounded up by Minchella.
Surrender! Stand! 5, hold your run there, wait!
They're on the last here. Kick away by Whitby. Morg.
You know, we marvel about the defence of Hull KR, but it's their attack. They've scored 30 points or more in 5 games. And when they get going in a row, those 5 games, when they get going, when they start to post points, when they're on the front foot, when they're confident, that till keeps ringing, doesn't it?
He clearly thinks he's okay, Mikey Lewis, with that little run out of dummy half. He got the injury in the semi-final, didn't he? And Kevin Brown pointing out last night, Hull KR coped well without him on that occasion, but that's certainly running for the final. Listen to the noise now. They'll be taking this down to London next week. Bounced in by Brown. Minchella. Nearly 20,000 Hull KR fans travelling down next week. Not quite last one out, switch the lights out, because I think there's a few on the other side of the city who'll be keeping the lights shining.
I just hope the pubs and bars are well stocked. They'll enjoy themselves.
Iker, little kick through, Davies after it, but doesn't quite thread up. And Saints have it back again.
And if you're a St Helens player, there is a long way to go in this game. That scoreboard already looks unpleasant. You don't want it to start looking uglier and uglier.
Wilkinson Rovers fans now turning their attention to St Helens supporters, taunting them at their lack of vocality, but I'm not surprised. A penalty there. I think Sue dropped on him with a knee. Oh, the kick. Oh, it has gone out of play. Altamore doing his level best to try and get a hand on that before it did, but it travelled far enough, and Percival will take the tap, and Lees is here to take on the challenge. St Helens trying to create a bit of an ember to build a fire, to not turn their season around. It's not disastrous, but certainly not good enough so far. And back to Lomax, short again, in comes the athletic Sirina. And up and gathers. Oh, that's dreadful. Percival picks it up. They look disconnected, they look discombobulated, don't they, St Helens, at the moment. And Knowles, Delaney, no lack of effort there, but no lack of punch from that Hawkinson Rovers defence that came to meet him, and one play to go. And Whitby's kick into that in-goal area again, but Burgess just sliding in, safety first, concedes a dropout, but nothing worse.
Does well, good reactions from Joe Burgess. St Helens chasing hard. Is it George Whitby? Might be Harry Robertson, who's chasing hard, trying to pick up some scraps, and it could get even worse for St Helens. They might drop out of the 6 if Hull FC beat Catalan. Wakey, who are at Leeds, it could be a very costly weekend. Aribi Doro back on for Hull KR.
Well, there are some reputations that might be rinsed this season in Super League. You look at the table so far and think Hull KR, Wigan, top 2. But then underneath that, yes, growing reputations. Wakefield, newly promoted. Leeds look as though they're responding. Warrington, St Helens just doing a little tough in the league at the moment.
Game. I'm actually going to Headingley. It's the MND game, just on the eve of Rob Burrows' anniversary. Sadly passed away 12 months ago on the 2nd of June, and Headingley will be the place to be.
Robertson with a pass away. Yep. Sure, a lot of people will empathise with that. Barry tomorrow. Here's Mbai. Knowles trying to step away. Minchella's right in his face, and before Knowles can... Well, Knowles has got it away. I say before he can flick it away, there are more coming in, but Sirinen now will take it on, and has lost it. The body language of those Saints players tells you an awful lot at the moment. Frustrated, down, not out. There's still half a season to go.
And it's not because they're not trying. You get in situations, you start trying too hard. He's forcing an offload, Sirinen. There's too many. There's a defender around his midsection. It's not on. He's trying to find Matt Whitley.
Just a reminder of what is coming tomorrow. Those NRL matches in the morning. Leeds Wakefield is at 4:15. You can see that on Sky Sports Plus, by the way. Catalan against Hull FC, 5:25, also on Sky Sports Plus. And more NRL action on Sunday. NRL, the Roosters against the Raiders. And don't forget the Bench podcast as well. Always a fascinating listen. If you've not already registered for that, make sure you do, and it'll just drop into your device each week. Every week, a fascinating listen. Hawkinson Rovers have done the job here with 10 minutes left to play. A healthy win against St Helens. The second time this season they have beaten St Helens. It's a mark of where the two reputations are at the moment. Once upon a time, a double against St Helens would have been in itself cause for celebration for the Robins. But now it's something they expect.
It's ordinary. It's not even a highlight, is it? They've got many highlights to go at.
Last play coming up. Billy Leyland saunters in to dummy half. Jez Litton still on the field, puts a big left boot through that. It's taken by Tristan Saylor. St Helens, oh, that's Tristan Saylor went for a walk there.
Go back.
They do so much of the work, Hull KR, in the ruck, in the wrestle.
They are so tight on the play the ball. It baffles me why we don't have penalties given when players step off the mark anymore.
I don't mind it, Dave. I don't like the referee blowing his whistle unnecessarily. Send him back, play it again, let's get on with it.
He's off again, he's off again. The referee's lost patience, he's get on with it, come on, let's play on. Here's Walmsley, slamming in, flicking it away. Lomax collects. Just a little scurry and a scamper to this right-hand side. Oh, my word.
Tristan Saylor.
The miler.
Wow. You can see what he's trying to do, Johnny Lomax. He's trying to put the ball into the place where he wants Tristan Saylor, and there's some pushing and shoving.
Well, Mikey Lewis was applauding Johnny Lomax in what is an irritating way, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Mark Percival wasn't happy with that. I mean, it's part of Mikey Lewis's game, but you can fully understand why opponents would be very frustrated by that kind of action.
It is part of his character. You'd say to your players, if you're influencing St Helens, just ignore him, because the minute you start getting entwined with him, he'll come out on the right side. He's pushing, he's celebrating.
And as good as you are, and he is good, he's doing that to Johnny Lomax, who I think has got so much in the bank in terms of reputation that he doesn't deserve that kind of reaction.
There's two ways to look at it. You'd want Mikey Lewis to have a bit more class, but you'd also not want to take that streak off him where he's so confident, he thinks he can conquer the world, he thinks he can run marathons, jump over mountains, do the lot.
It's quite childish, that, okay? I know, yeah, Mark's come running in, but there's no need for you to go back in. You've got the ball here, play the ball, tidy it up, yeah, with 7 minutes to go, just tidy it up.
Yeah. I mean, Johnny Lomax knows himself what happened there. He doesn't need the reaction he got. Childish was the way the referee described it, and I don't think many can argue with that. Anyway, off we go.
Mark, think about it, come on.
7 minutes and 45 seconds. This is Leyland.
Whoa, move together! Oh, it's all here. Wait, hold. Go on.
Morgan at dummy half, looking to set Jack Brown in the right direction. Brown just engaging 3 of them. He's still holding his ground, isn't he? Good take by him. Lytton. Morg with a lovely pass, and Tanganoa, but it's a great covering tackle. There was an off-the-ball hit, I think, on Doro. And that's why...
charge. Matty Lee's on Doro, it's off the ball, penalty only.
Right, OK, I've got the penalty here.
Wait there, wait.
He knows what he's doing, Matty Lewis. Just in case the big man gets the ball, he's there to front him up, but it gives an opportunity to Hulk out. You wouldn't back against them going over again.
Reach for Minchella. And again, just trying to drag himself through, and Leyland here and waits. Lytton, Minchella. It's the one try in this second half scored by Lewis on the hour mark. That's a mess. Minchella eventually will play it. Leyland comes up, and Doro goes bursting in. But he needs more than a burst to get through those big fellas. Lees and Walmsley, and again it just gets a little heated there, and the referee gives a penalty for St Helens.
Well, there's a lot of nothing going on in the day.
It's messy, isn't it, now?
I've said it before, it's become the ultimate shirt-tugging championship, hasn't it?
There's a rule I'd love to see brought into the game, which they never will.
Are we thinking the same one here?
Where both teams can play the card and say, we've had enough.
No. That's not the one I was thinking.
Right.
Pushes in, forces me to stop the game. Jez, ball.
What are you thinking?
You do not want to know.
I really do.
What's coming out now when the mouse is going around the wheel in my mind, when two players are gripping each other's shirt?
Or if they're not punching each other, it shouldn't be happening. That's what you're thinking, isn't it? Don't pull shirts.
I'm saying nothing. I thought you was going to say it.
No. He's passing. And by. Whitby, and Walmsley loses the ball and at least recovers the situation by wrapping his big arms around Mikey Lewis.
That's the 11th error St Helens have made, and an unforced one. I think George Delaney had a couple of simple fumbles. Big Alex, he's got that all wrong. He's probably got a defender in his sights. They're even attacking when they're defending Hull KR. So impressive, aren't they, Hull KR? Even with everything at stake next week, the professionalism and the commitment to the coach and cause is outstanding.
Well, they were looking to press the reset button. 2 wins against teams they would expect to win. This was going to be a test for them tonight, which they've failed, but that's what they've got coming up. Salford away, Salford at home, Leeds in between. So again, they could get a bit of momentum building.
Yeah, there's pressure on those games though. Salford, Leeds twice, Salford twice, Hull FC. They're expected to do well in 3 of the 2.
They could rack some big points up again, couldn't they, with those 2 Salford games?
But you might have the same situation again. They go into a big game and it doesn't mean anything, does it?
No. But it keeps them in the hunt. That's the main thing. It keeps them in the hunt, and things can get fixed up, can't they?
It's all about time in Super League. All about timing your run.
4. Move now, not play that tackle 4. Go 4.
St Helens looking to attack here again in the shape of Clark, who's pushing forward and is being carried to the sidelines and offload straight to Moore, and LKR can bring it back again. Now, if you've been looking closely here, you might have noticed something which Jenna can tell us all about. Jenna.
Yeah, I can tell you that Hull KR still have 1 sub to make. However, Elliot Minchella, the captain of Hull KR, has come off and they haven't replaced him. So the Robins are playing with 12.
Okie dokie. I do remember Ian Millward doing that St Helens game at Bradford, but I think he was trying to irritate the opposition by playing with only 12. A few years back at Valley Parade.
He clearly thinks he doesn't need the full complement.
Wait, Alex. Wait, go 4.
This is Doro. Lost it again.
And as well,
He's had ups and downs, hasn't he, Uribe Doro? We've sung his praises quite rightly, but there have been scrappy moments.
Oh, he's got to tidy his game up, but the raw materials you're working with are pretty impressive. He's only going to get better. And I've obviously... There's 12 players on here. At some point in a big game, Hull KR are going to have to play with 12 players. So why not get a bit of practice under the bright lights on a Friday night?
Might be down to 11. 2 games elsewhere tonight. Big win as expected for Wigan, 46 points to 6 at Salford. And Warrington with an important win as well in terms of their league position, but also a settler for them ahead of Wembley next week. 34-24. Sounds like a decent effort by Castleford, that, doesn't it?
It's the other side of the scoreboard that won't set Warrington fans excited.
We'll see the best of those games at full time here as well. See some of the action with Brian and of course Jody and John tonight. Catching up with all the personnel here. I'm sure a lot of people will be anxious to hear from Willie Peters to see what kind of health they've come out of this game with.
Move now, Jack.
This is Mbai. Walmsley pawing the ground. He wants it, and again just hits his big body into that situation.
Back foot, wait.
Mbai spinning it back. Whitby came at pace. Pressure on him from Mikey Lewis. Ball bounced out, and when he recollects it, it's clearly a knock-on.
I'd be interested to know what the guys in studio make of that Lewis Murphy no try and the way that the game swung. Obviously Hull KR were in front on the scoreboard, but it was a no try. Hull KR went up the other side and the game was dead from that point. Massive talking point, that one.
Well, he copped an injury for it as well, didn't he? To the quad.
5 seconds. Shot clock off, ball out.
90 seconds to go. Every Hull Kingston Rovers player out there now surely will be thinking about what is ahead of them next week.
Move now, Matty.
A first piece of silverware in 40 years? That's the question they'll be hoping to answer in the affirmative. But Warrington will have something to say about that. But in terms of dress rehearsals, it's been good enough tonight. It hasn't been a 10 out of 10 performance by any stretch, but there have been 10 out of 10 moments that have given them this comfortable victory, as it's going to be.
Well, there's a mistake there, I think. The ball reefed by St Helens. Dave, can you imagine these fans, how excited they're going to be if and when they get some silverware? Third final in 3 years. We come here week after week, and the place is absolutely bouncing, and they haven't won anything yet.
Ground out of a grand final last year, beaten in Golden Point in the Challenge Cup final the year before. They're off to Vegas next year, but they're hoping they're going at least as Challenge Cup holders. But they'll also want to be lifting that grand final trophy as well at the end of the year.
They're just good luck getting off the car park when they've actually got a trophy to celebrate.
Good luck getting off the car park here anyway on a Friday night, Barry. Just to add to St Helens' misery, they're going to go on the A63 and the M62 tonight as well, which takes usually about 4 hours on a Friday. That is the final hooter. Job done. Smiles. First task was to get through with a win. Second, and not far behind, was to get through without any injury concerns. It looks as though, despite a few raised eyebrows at the condition of Mikey Lewis when he got a bang, and also Tyrone May when he got an early bang, but the problems mount at St Helens, you have to say. This was the night they were hoping to prove that the pedigree had returned, but on the evidence of this night, it hasn't. Hull Kingston Rovers hold firm at the top of the table. Wembley, here they come. They've beaten St Helens by 34 points to 4.